say
Top Billin. All right, Top Billin, your boy's getting geeked up for this particular national championship game, a freaking rematch in the game, and I'm just thinking about the tactical adjustments that both sides could make, but specifically looking at Georgia here and how they could possibly replicate some of the stuff that Cincinnati was doing. Now, obviously, Cincinnati got his ass beat. Bad, right? They got bludgeoned to death on the ground, so there's only so much you can take from this. However, you would be a fool to not look at some of the passing concepts and realize that even with the groundwork going on, Alabama could not generate explosive plays down the field. They probably could have nickel and dimed their way down the field because it's Alabama and the type of talent that it has at the quarterback position, and it's obviously the targets, receivers, and tight ends as well. But the explosive plays is how Alabama has lived for the most part, and Cincinnati did a great job of that. And I was talking to a few people in the comment section, and I'm talking about tactical adjustments, and fans are always thinking that two games will be the same. Kirby Smart will be dumb as hell to do the exact same thing and get his ass beat again. So Cincinnati was doing some stuff that I had thought about. Now that I got a chance to really look in on it, this is exactly the kind of stuff that I would like for Georgia to mix in. Just from listen, I'm neutral. I hate both of these teams. I cover this shit to pay my mortgage, right? These are not my teams. So my team is the game of football, and I love seeing great teams like Alabama and Georgia play against each other. So being able to rush 3 and drop 8, dedicate more bodies to the passing game. So if you see right here, these guys already have a 3-man front, right? It looks like they could add a 4th rusher here by an I want to say this may be the off-ball linebacker. I apologize. I don't know Cincinnati's roster like that. However, he drops into a spy position. You can see him dropping into a spy position right here, and they're rushing 3, right, and dropping 8. So you'll get man on the outside into the boundary. You get man on skill here, and you can see some of these, like the cat going against Jameson Williams right here. They did a lot of bailing out and staying over the top, and then they kept a middle hole player as well. He was closing off the middle of the field, and he did a great job a lot of times making sure that he angled off to Jameson Williams' side to give him a little help, just to make sure that he's not the one getting beat deep there. So if you check this out right here, it looks like it was pretty good protection there, but Bryce Young's clock went off in his head and he's letting it go. JoJo Earl not there with it yet, right? With the man on skill, right? So they're pressing into or close quarters coverage, whatever you want to designate that as. And you can see right there, Bryce Young letting it go. There's really nowhere to go right here except maybe right here, but that's that after the fact shit that fans like to do. Bryce Young already coming out of his drop right there. You don't know how this is going to go in transition here, but he does know that this is man coverage of JoJo Earl. This was actually first down. If JoJo Earl can shake loose right here, he can get himself a quick 7-8 yards. Maybe JoJo breaks something or something like that. But you can see the sausage is made right here. 3 men rushing, not really worrying about getting super pressure, just dedicating extra bodies. Zone right here, zone closing off the middle of the field, zone over here, then bracketing the other slot player over here as well by knowing that you have a middle hole player. So that's one way to get it done right there. Let's look at a couple of instances of them doing this. So on this one, you're going to have kind of a stop route here by, I want to say that's Latu. You got Earl here. He's kind of coming on a quick curl. You got a sharp slant coming from Jameson Williams out here. And I believe you have, I want to say Ja'Cory Brooks right here on a corner route. But if you can see right here, now they ended up converting this, but normally on something like this, they may pop a big one, right? Pause. Got to pause that one right there. And you can see here, they're only rushing 3. They'll bring a man out the line of scrimmage, but, man, they're working coverage across the board like you wouldn't believe. A lot of people were trying to sell me on the cornerbacks of Cincinnati that have tons of accolades, but I noticed a lot of zone from these guys, and it really reminded me of a lot of the stuff that Ohio State does. See right here? Look, they back the guy off the line right here, and you can see coverage across the board. Look at all eyes on the quarterback here. All eyes. This is coverage across the board right here. Rush 3, drop 8. make Bryce Young have to really chain through his progressions there, which he does here. He ends up hitting, I believe, Billingsley, so that was Billingsley out there, and he backs up and gets the first down. This was on third down right there. But a lot of the times you see Alabama, they end up getting something big out of plays like this because they're always looking to go downfield anyway. But you want to force them to not go downfield and get those chunk plays, and then you can try to see if you can nickel and dime your way all the way down to the red zone, and then things get a little bit more difficult in red zone, and you can have them kick more field goals, obviously, than getting the points like they would normally do there. So you just don't want to get beat deep like they did the first time there. Force them to do something a little bit different. Maybe you even force them to try to run the ball a little bit more. Maybe you have much better personnel. If you were to rush 3 and drop 8 a lot and try to coerce them into running the ball, you may have a little bit better defense against it than Cincinnati would, just because of some of the guys that you have on your team. That's the only thing I would think about that. You just got to do something different. There's no way you can try to do the same exact thing and expect different results. I love this one right here. You got a couple of stop routes here on the outside. Both slot receivers getting vert here. And you will see, once again, they have a player drop off. Got 3 men down. Looks like the linebacker on the line of scrimmage. He's spying. So remember that for Georgia, it doesn't necessarily even have to be Nakobe Dean, right? You can make Nakobe Dean play at depth as well, but have a guy like Channing Tindall on there as a spy. Meaning if he has his sights on Bryce Young, he's going to get there the fastest. But as a spy, he should be able to keep up with Bryce Young, no problem. Bryce Young, a very good athlete in his own right, but nothing like Channing Tindall, if you know what I'm saying there. But you'll see these guys, once again, playing coverage across the board. You'll get this particular slot defender here who will sink underneath while the cornerback right here gets depth. And then, of course, you'll get this man Shaden back over here. You get him back at depth there, and they do a great job of really getting a middle hole player from out of the linebacker spot, from out of the second level. So he gets down here too. Almost becomes like a 3-deep shell from that there. That's keeping those explosive plays at bay. So we see him going through right here. Bryce Young really has nowhere to go with this. Has to throw it away. This was 2nd and 9, I believe. See it once again. They're running a 6-man protect there, they're running a 6-man protect there, sending 4 guys out, and there's really nowhere to go with the ball. If you go short right here, you got eyes on those guys right here. Corey Brooks perhaps coming loose, but he's got a safety rolling on top of him as well. I don't know. Those are some good ways to limit the explosive plays, but it's Alabama. They can get you death by 1,000 cuts as well. I would rather lose death by 1,000 cuts to Alabama than to lose the exact same way as before. Got to do something different. If you're Alabama, you got to expect them to do something different. You have to be able to switch your pitch as well. So I mentioned all this just for the fact that can't gloss over the fact that they lost 96 catches from John Mechie and your chain mover. Tons of talent there, like we just seen out there with JoJo Earl, Corey Brooks. They can bring guys off the bench, but a guy like Jaleel Billingsley could step up, or a lot too. Tons of talent there, no doubt about that. But what if they do have a switch up that you're not ready for? So you got to expect the unexpected. I can't wait to see it. I probably have even more in this game, but I want to know what you guys think about the rush 3, drop 8 factor. You would not do this every down. As a matter of fact, check this out. Looks like it could possibly be the same thing. Rush 3 and drop 8. This time they send 5. You send the spy player or the guy who's been the spy most of the time, and then the second level players as well. Guy who was closing off the middle of the field. He becomes a late add, but he ends up being in man coverage on the tight end Jaleel Billingsley here. And then you got man on skill right here with Jameson Williams. However, he does get loose and gets behind the safety right here, who is not normally closing out the middle of the field there. And but Bryce Young couldn't get it there because of the pressure. So being able to send timely pressure like this, see right there, Bryce Young has the flush, and you could bet your bottom dollar if that pressure wasn't coming, he could light this bad boy up, throw it towards the pylon or whatever, and let Jameson Williams run under it. But he's unable to do that, and he has to throw it away there. So timely pressure, rush 3, drop 8. a good majority of the time, making them having to sift through that to try to limit the big plays and then bringing that timely pressure and just seeing what shakes loose. Now, obviously, Bama has to defend Georgia as well. So there will be some differences than the last game as well with the cornerback being out, although that particular cornerback, in my opinion, is not that good. Maybe it's better for Alabama with the younger cornerbacks there. We shall see with that, but maybe Georgia just needs to run the ball a little bit more, right? Be very efficient. I know it might be boring or whatever like that, but if they can shake something loose and continue to move the chains and then limit explosive plays on the other side of the ball, and maybe they hold Alabama to 24, 27 points or something like that, and then they're able to put up their own. You just don't want to have to try to chase Alabama and score 50 with them. I don't know. That's just me there. But let me know if you hyped up. It's your boy Murph, the Underground King. I am extremely hyped up for this game. Can't wait for it. With that being said, peace.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.